Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's most comprehensive platform for small businesses, covering all aspects of finance, how to make money, how to manage money, strategy, hiring, everything and anything in between related and most relevant and pertinent to you, the entrepreneur. Tonight, we're being joined by two very, very well-known speakers who need no introduction. First up, Hiranandani. We're also being joined from Bengaluru by Mohandas Pai. Mr. Hiranandani, let me start with you. 2020 has not been a good year for most industries and businesses, but I was reading some recent comments of yours where you said that the signals are positive and you started seeing some bit of a pickup. So definitely good news, at least as far as real estate is concerned. Let me come to you on that. We're almost at the beginning of 2021. For entrepreneurs who are watching this interview, any sort of cues, any trends that you might want to kick off today's interview with?
So for the last 2 years, real estate was in a bad shape. Ever since demonetization, I don't think you could really look at real estate with a positive sign. However, beginning of 2020, we saw very positive signs, and I thought things would become all right till the pandemic came, and COVID really destroyed the story. Now, what has happened is that post 7 months of that, we are seeing green shoots happen. So we are going to see a lot of things positively happening, and they are happening partly because there has been a lowering of interest rates, understanding that people want to buy homes now because they believe that working from home and all these ideas and thoughts have changed in the minds of people. People earlier would say that, oh, I don't need to buy a house now. Now they say, yes, we do need to buy a house now. And there's a huge difference between the two. So I think a positive story in the real estate sector, Sunanda, is definitely happening. Number two, I think it's also the mood which has changed. And I think the positive mood is the idea which I think is taking a positive trend in the people. People are ready to come and buy the house. The lower rate of interest and all these things are making that difference. And if it's a ready house where no GST is to be paid, and like Maharashtra, they have reduced the stamp duty from 5% to 2%, all this compounded put together is actually changing the industry to a very positive outlook which has happened. And last but not the least, what has been done by the finance minister in terms of amending section 43CA partly is definitely going to make a difference, because this ready reckoner rate, circle rate, jantri rate was so geared to collect revenue rather than to be a true market value that it is actually quite funny. And people can't believe that they are still linking it with the ready reckoner rates and others in terms of stamp duty. So all this is making a world of a difference. And I think positive trend in the real estate industry is being seen. We have the issues of commercial coming back. People are getting back to work, whether work from home or work from office, but they're back to work. And I think industry has shown very good figures. All this is a positive trend.
Mr. Pai, I was looking at some of your tweets recently where you're talking very highly of digital India, e-commerce, and the digital piece, really. That's definitely come into play, along with the fact that work from home, the demand from home, demand for homes really is coming back. Digital also at the forefront now as we speak.
Yeah, Sunanda, 5 years ago, Prime Minister Modi from the Red Fort spoke about digital India. It is a master move, a brilliant move. The man is a visionary. And he connected the bottom of the pyramid. Now, all of us could be connected because we have got money. But he connected the bottom of the pyramid. 400 million people got bank accounts. 1.2 billion people got Aadhaar. And then we had the UPI come in. 2 billion transactions are happening. And because of Jio coming in and Jio playing magic, because they reduced the cost of connectivity, 4G, to maybe unlimited data for just about 100 rupees a month, we are having consumption between 14 GB to 17 GB on an average. No other country has such a high consumption of data. And all this helped the time of the COVID when everything was locked down. Because the large number of people, maybe 50% of people did e-commerce, banking transaction digitally, they had entertainment to Hotstar and Netflix. And then they had education through Baiju and others. We saw erosion. Of course, the many people, they were not helped. but they could still do banking. And the government came out with a stimulus whereby they gave money to 200 million women, they gave money to 95 million farmers, 85 million women got gas stoves, and 25 million construction workers got money. Just imagine, all this wouldn't have happened if the digital India was not there. So today, any doubt people had about the digital world is gone. Business models have changed. Everything is gone digital. And in our lives,
Yeah,
whatever you do, whether you go to a shop to buy entertainment, you go to a doctor, you go everywhere else, everything is gone digital. So everything is in a flux. We have gone digital, and digital is the future. Any business strategy
sure.
without digital is not going to succeed.
You're talking e-commerce, you're talking banking. Mr. Hiranandani, of course, is talking about real estate. Gentlemen, if both of you had money to put into sectors that you're going to bet on for 2021-22, to say these are the emerging sectors and which have emerged thanks to the pandemic, what would the sectors be?
I think the two sectors definitely we think is in. One is infra, which includes housing and infra together, and
Sure,
anything to do with technology. Because as Mr. Mohandas Pai just mentioned over here just now, technology is going to be the backbone in every industry. So whether it is medicine that he talked about just now, or we are talking about education, which is going to be the next. My belief is that with leaders like Mohandas Pai, you will see a tech education revolution through technology. That's one of the things which I think the Prime Minister missed out. He should have called this NEP policy an educational revolution, because what you really need to do is to create a revolution, which means that the marginalized person in the last village is going to be educated as well as the person in the cities. And this is now possible to do digitally. And we
sure.
have now a committee which Dr. Mashalkar is heading for Maharashtra. And one of the thought processes is how can you actually get the best education to the marginalized sector of the society? And this is now going to be possible. So technology is going to be the backbone of all the issues and businesses that we take. Education will be one of the forefronts, which I think India can do a paradigm, especially in view of the fact that we are already using technology to sell businesses to even the Western world. So we think
Sure.
that we should use this backbone very thing, and I think that's going to grow.
Mr. Pai?
Well, I'll put all my money into startups because remember, today there are 50,000 startups who created $170 billion of value and 40 unicorns. By 2025, we'll have 100,000 startups, 100 unicorns creating $500 billion of value. And today, many
Sure.
of those are coming from seed to Series A and going up and beyond. And because the wind is behind the sails, and they're going to grow much, much faster. And this next 5 years is going to be the digital era when startups and technology are going to be there. And they're going to drive infrastructure, they're going to drive e-commuting, and they're going to drive finance, they're going to drive everything else. Because the key thing is, how do you reach markets? India has been a very, very large country, and those successful businesses who have a distribution network have been able to succeed, like a Hindustan Lever. The success of levers, in my view, is not in the product, which can be copied, but in the distribution. And if people had distribution, physical distribution, now you've got digital distribution. And that's why Amazon is growing so fast, e-commerce is growing so fast, Hotflix is growing so fast. And now India is become a part of the global world as far as software is concerned. You'll find the software industry growing pretty fast. You've seen the margins go up, your growth go up. So I think the next 5 years are going to be the most exciting period in India's long history because we are ready. The growth is going to come. Interest rates have come down. Cost of capital is come down. Tax rates have come down, which is incredible. And interest rates are going to
Sure.
come down even more for everybody. And that's going to drive a massive investment surge. And when the investment surge comes along with consumption, we're going to rock.
Gentlemen, do hold that thought. I'm going to slip into a very short break, but much more on the other side when we come back. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow tonight, being joined by Mohandas Pai and Niranjan Hiranandani to talk to us about their advice for entrepreneurs in the upcoming year as far as doing business is concerned in a post-pandemic world. We were talking about education, but education and technology in education is such a vast field, and largely we are seeing technology in the field of education when it comes to higher education, Mr. Pai. Do we see it being more broad based, perhaps going into 2021, primary education largely, where a lot of innovation is really needed?
Sunanda, you'll be happy to know that a lot of innovations already there in school education, primary education, secondary education,
Hmm.
higher education. The content has been put, the rich videos have been put, everything has been put. What is
Okay.
required for the bottom 50% of India, which I will
Yeah.
request Niranjan to have a look, is a tablet, a low cost device of say 10,000 rupees, which can give them access. Suppose you give every child in this country a nice tablet, not that crappy one which Kapil Sibal did long ago, but a very nice modern tablet with preloaded software connected to the web with a Geo plan, because Geo can give you a very cheap
Hmm.
plan with 4G. You will find wonders. It can make a 30-40% improvement in the child's education. Because remember, Sunanda, we are all curious people. Child is very curious. Child will explore. On the internet, there's so much of rich content. There's wrong content too. We got to make sure they're all blocked. But so much of rich content. Content is available. Baidu has got 70 million people on his portal. 70 million for
Yeah.
God's sake. And 70 million is a lot, right? There are 265 million children in school. There are possibly about 35 million young people in college. Now leave the college because they can take care of themselves. In school, the bottom 50% require a digital device because they're not used to it. And just now I read a report saying that about 10% of people in rural India bought a digital device for the children education. Now government should have a large program. It may cost totally maybe 2 lakh crores. At 2 lakh
Okay.
crores to give 2 crores. I mean, 20 crore, let's say 20 crore tablets to children at 10,000 rupees each, right? That is 2 lakh crore, I think, right? And you can easily do it by taking 40, 50,000 crores from the Universal Service Obligation Fund of the telecom
Sure.
industry. There's some 50,000 crores there, and the balance can be put by the state government and the union government over the next 2 years. Because the school education, we spend nearly 6 lakh crores a year. 6 lakh crores.
Sure.
It's not funny. And for education, we spend about 2 lakh crores from the government side. So I think we have to have a plan. Hopefully, it'll happen. I hope that Niranjan and Dr. Mashelkar in Maharashtra will lead the way. So we can do that. The only thing is give
Okay.
them a good device, give them connectivity, software is available.
Okay. The overarching theme that we're working with here on the Leaders of Tomorrow on season 9 is empowering a billion dreams. It doesn't matter what the size is of your business as an entrepreneur. We here as a platform are here to enable you. And this question is to both of you gentlemen. How do you think entrepreneurs are essentially going to be enabled to grow over 2021, 22? What do they need? And how do you think be more crucial now in this post-pandemic or in this pandemic world than ever before?
Rokda, look, let me tell you, China invests
Okay.
$65 billion dollars in venture and in digital every year. US $135 billion. dollars. India invests 12 to
Hmm.
14 billion dollars a year. If we up it to 35 billion dollars a year, in 5 years we'll transform. We have enough entrepreneurs. We are young people who don't know the word impossible. They'll go do it because they don't know they will fail. They will not fail. We got to back them with seed funds, with venture capital funds. I want Niranjan, who's a billionaire, to put in $500 million a year into digital every year for the next 5 years. He will be a multi-billionaire in 10 years' time when it reaches out. We want Indian capital to go into startups. We want Indian capital to back our young entrepreneurs because we are suffering from a lack of capital, Sunanda. Give the young people capital, like create a surplus capital situation. You will find magic happening in this country. There's nothing more required. We don't want any government help.
Sure.
We don't want more incubators. We don't want anything else. We don't want any research. Give them just capital, access to capital, and they will make sure a billion people are reached.
Mr. Hiranandani,
Sunanda,
yeah,
uh,
go ahead.
Mona is very, very, very kind, but his ideas are perfect. So one of the things which we have started on is data centers. So we have put up the largest tier 4 data center in the world in Maharashtra, and we plan to replicate similar smaller data centers in North India, in Noida, in Chennai. So which means that all the
Come to
data
Bangalore,
that
Niranjan. Come to Bangalore.
okay, we'll come to Bangalore too. My pleasure. The point is, once we do all these data centers, you will be able to see that entire data required for every activity. So whether it is running the TV, just like you're doing just now, or it is education, or it is going to be running banking, financial systems, the backbone of it will be put into India, and it will grow at 200% compounded per annum for the next 3 years. So that's the kind of digital requirement which we will cater for. Number two, what he has talked about in terms of education, we in Mumbai run 14 colleges and 8 schools of having 45,000 students in colleges. Our target is to reach and outreach in the next 3 years 90,000 students through the digital media. Those are very small numbers when you come to India talking, but that's the small beginning that we want to make. Number two,
Sure.
what he said is absolutely right. If we can get the tablet to the student and do the digital connectivity in the next 12 months, we will have created children who would be as educated in any location in India, as good as one of the best schools in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, any other place. And this is now possible. You see, if you had talked about this thing 5 years ago, it would have been a dream, a remoter dream far in the stars to reach the Mars.
Sure.
Today, it's possible. And it's possible now. And the money required is not as much as he has just explained to it. We need a few amount of infrastructure that we need to do and see to it that that reaches the students. And it's not expensive.
I have two questions. The first one, and this is open to both of you. Um, we've been talking about money. How differently should entrepreneurs look at raising money and perhaps managing that money in 2021-22? Maybe I can come to you first, Mr. Hiranandani.
Money is more easily available to a startup today than it was to me 30 years ago. I found it difficult. I borrowed money at 2% interest per month when I started my life. Today, that money is
Sure.
available to a startup as an equity money at most of the time. And hence, the opportunity is there. Plus, with technology being there and ideas and entrepreneurial ideas being there, there is no limit to what we can achieve. So, we are all there, we have it all, jump to it.
My view is that money is available much more than it was 2 3 years ago. People must learn how to pitch, how to market, and when you have a founding team, one person should spend a lot of time raising money. And my request to all entrepreneurs is, please be frugal about money. Don't blow it up. Don't blow up the capital because people are paying you capital. Treat capital with more respect, because you'll get diluted. And don't get diluted. You should become a billionaire. And to become a billionaire, you must have a reasonable share. Once you grow up after 10 years, if you just have a 2%, 3% share because you blew up in the beginning, that's no good to you. Look after yourself, be frugal, respect capital, and go pitch for capital, and you'll do well. Capital is getting more and more easily available.
My last question, again open to the two of you. Entrepreneurs are in uncharted waters as we speak. One or two of the top skills that you think entrepreneurs will necessarily be forced to rely upon in the next few years, what should they be looking at? Maybe Mr. Pai, I could ask you to go first.
Marketing and communication, Sunanda. Sunanda, who are the
Okay.
people who are succeeding now? Look at all the unicorns. Their founders knew how to raise capital. How did they raise capital? They were able to pitch, they were able to market, they were able to build. Now, technology is available. Hackers and techie people are available. Everybody else is available. The key thing is know how to sell. You talk to an American kid, okay? He will sell a $25 stuff for $100 and make the customer feel they got a great deal. You talk to an Indian kid, he'll sell a $100 stuff for $25 and feel sorry for the customer. That's our attitude, because we are not a marketing
Sure.
society. So we got to be a marketing society. And people, young people who learn how to market, who learn how to pitch, who learn how to communicate, so that's the skill they must have in plenty, because technology is available. That is
Sure.
available in plenty.
I think Mr. Pai takes the cake, but I'll just add on one more thought, and which is really if you can find a good purpose or objective to what you are really doing and use that to fulfill a need of the marketplace, and it could be a small need, a big need, or whatever it is. I think if you have a purpose in the entire startup that you have, there is no way you will not succeed, because once you
Sure.
fulfill a need or a requirement which a person is being able to do, that's really the direction to go. And that is what is going to work. The good purpose at the back end of whatever you are doing.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Thanks for taking the time. We've run
Thank
out of
you.
time on this panel discussion, but do send us your thoughts and feedback. Our contact details coming up on your screens in just a moment. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.